How much value do you bring to your client?
What are you doing with this GPS, or what are you doing with that drone,
Welcome to Emlid Talks.
So I am Sam Peppel. I am in the U.S., in the state of North Carolina, in a city called Raleigh. So that's where I'm coming from. Stefan?
Cool. My name is Stefan Niculescu. I'm originally from Romania, but I've been living in the UK, Scotland, for the last 10 years. I live somewhere between Edinburgh and Glasgow. There's a place near a place called Falkirk, which is really nice.
Wow. But you're originally Romanian, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Nice. And yeah, I'm John Moraglia, and I'm from New Jersey, and I've lived here my whole life as well.
Okay, so we're gonna shift gears and just start talking to some of the questions that I sent over.
Okay.
So this one is for you first, Stefan. Tell us your origin story. How did your surveying journey begin?
If you're expecting a very interesting motivational story, probably I will disappoint you by mistake. On 23 years ago, I had two options. Go to university or go to the compulsory army, the one that you're obliged to go. And so I needed to choose something. And my brother was a student on land surveying. I didn't know too much about it. So I was like, you know what, I will do that too. Didn't like it at the beginning. I didn't like all the math and everything, but I really enjoyed the practical stuff, the applied. Once I start understanding how things are applying on site and how do you actually make things, it just attracted me. And then 23 years later, here I am still doing this. So
Wow.
yeah. How about you, John?
Yeah, like several years ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I did a pretty big pivot to most of my business and what I do day to day being specifically, with the drone surveys. Um, Before that, I did mostly just photos and videos of really anything. Just most people start out that way when they have a drone company. But I kind of wanted to do something that was more meaningful. I got a little bit tired of just taking photos all the time, and I saw, surveying being a part of it because a lot of my audience was construction. That wow, like what if we take this further and create meaningful data that can be used in all these different helpful ways. Although photos can be still helpful for marketing or like progress monitoring, but actually helping these project managers or whoever is involved on these sites, like giving them real data they can use day to day. That was like what for me I really enjoyed about it, and that's kind of why I'm always pushing that direction all the time, trying to specialize in like the drone surveying world.
John, do you think that's a pretty natural progression for those who bought like a consumer grade drone or even commercial grade drone for photography, videography, and then saw that they were working for companies that needed precision data, that they could now take similar skills and go build those data sets? Is that common?
Yeah, I would say so because a lot of times it's always best to start off pretty small in the beginning because again, if you're changing like your whole career or something, you don't know how much you're going to like this or
Mm.
whatever it may be. So yeah, starting small, getting like a more of a consumer drone and like just doing the photos or videos, marketing things like that, and then as you see opportunities come up and you gain client base and everything, or again, like you might be like me, you want to do something that's more meaningful, then yeah, do like pivoting into the surveying profession and then getting some more advanced equipment and really learning how the surveying industry works. I think it's really a great opportunity, great industry to pivot towards.
Stefan, when thanks, John. Stefan, when you said from there's 23 years since you started studying land surveying. When you made that decision, when did you start your own business? Were you working for others before that?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Romania, and I worked there for, I don't remember, 7 years. And I had a few contracts in Africa, in West Africa, for 4 years, and then me and my wife got settled in the UK, in Scotland, more exactly. Um, I decided to start. I think it was a natural way because with all the experience, I didn't really see the progress. I was stuck in the same position. I think I had the experience, and then I was doing the projects and the things that other people needed than what I wanted. So I said, you know what, I have nothing to lose. So in 2020, the company that I worked for back then decided to just cut staff from the survey department. It was like a department company. It was more civil engineering, and I just offered myself. I said, I'm just decided to go. So I didn't start then. This is when I first thought about it, and then. In 1 year, I worked for another company. I saved some money, and I just make sure I have, because I was expecting for the worst. I saved some money, and after a year, I just went on my own, and I never looked back since.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So, in that story, how long have you had your business running then?
Sorry, 4 years. So in 2021,
Okay,
I decided to just start it. That was the time.
got it. And so I want to ask John a quick question. So how do you find, like, when you got started, how did you find clients?
Yeah, so what I found over a lot of experimentation was really successful for me was, again, there's no substitute for just the in-person interactions and just networking and meeting people. You can try your best with the cold outreach of calls or emails or something, but I think where I definitely have gotten the most clients from has been just showing up on the job site. If I'm driving around, I see a job site trailer show up on a new construction site, I'll just hop in there and ask, "Hey, do you currently use drones on this job site, or do you currently, do drone surveys or something like that?" So there's that, and then even like when you're working, when you're already working on a site, there's so many people, contractors who are there, and a lot of times you bump into engineers, you have conversations with them, because everyone's always curious, like, "Oh, what are you doing with this GPS?" or "What are you doing with that drone?" It's
Yeah,
always like everyone's pretty interested in the technology. So yeah, those have definitely been some pretty good avenues. And then I would say, as well as going to different like conferences or events, like industry events. So maybe like you can go to like a construction conference or a surveying conference, whatever you can look up, whatever is available like in your area, or you might have to travel. But again, that's just a really great spot to meet so many contacts. And then once you get, once you make some friends and meet all these contacts, then the referrals will come your way. Trust me. That's been a big one nowadays. It's like I don't really even do too much outreach today. It's they just keep on referring me to their friends who work at other companies, and it just keeps on going on and on. So
yeah, awesome. Stefan,
Yeah.
any thoughts
Yeah.
on your early days of growing your client base?
So because I was a bit, Scotland is pretty small, and we are not too many surveyors. I kind of had a small network just to get me started. so I could know people that work on different projects, or we met on a construction site before when I was employed. And that was a bit my start. But there is another thing called their agencies in the UK that actually intermediate between big construction companies and freelancers. So I was a bit of mix for a couple of years until I managed to get a name, exactly what John was saying, getting a reputation, get your name right there, and then solve people problem, specific problem, and then people will come back to you, they will trust you, and then they will give you every project to you. Don't want anybody else, they don't want the cheaper price. They want to work with me because they know they don't get headache. They just get deliver. So, but I would like to add what John said about networking. I start doing later. I go a few times a year to different industry, like surveying industry in Europe, like fairs and expos, and I do networking over there. Especially is good because Scotland is a small place, and what's funny, surveyors here, they don't know how to promote themselves. So when people will look, there are companies from England, for example, coming to Scotland. They open a project and they need survey services, and I just want to be the first person who pops in their mind. So networking is very important. I agree with John on this.
Yeah. And Stefan, I know you have a YouTube channel and content you create. How is that helping your I guess your growing your client list as you provide a lot of good content to the world?
It does strengthen my authority because people see exactly what I know, how I help other people, and even if it's like more technical, it's a good start point. Like break the ice. It's not really cold outreach. You warm up the leads a bit. But to be honest, most of my leads are for my survey business. They are from LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is it's very good for business because people come for business there when they need something, or they just come and this is the place where people actually think, well, YouTube is good. It's good for personal touch. It replaces somehow the human interaction, like one-to-one, face-to-face. It's somehow replacing that. You can reach to more people and show your expertise, of course.
Thanks. John, a quick question for you on you, as I understand your story, you started, as you just mentioned, right? Progress monitoring, marketing shots with a drone, and then decided to move into another a more data rich deliverable. I guess my question for you is, what did you bring on land surveyors on the team? What did you have to do to learn how to make accurate, precise data deliverables?
Yeah. So what I did before I even started advertising or, doing these services is definitely did a ton of research. I spent just months, like actually like a whole summer, almost every day, just on the computer or testing things out and researching about everything I can learn about surveying, from any kind of articles, videos, or just different course agencies or online, as well as actually I was pretty good friends with a surveyor who lives in my town.
Mm.
So I actually got a lot of mentorship from him too, which is um great to have. If that's like probably one of the best avenues you could learn all this information from, is again, hopefully becoming good friends with someone nearby you who's been in the industry for a long time, and is eager to share with some newcomers, because again, surveying is a pretty I don't want to say dying industry, but like there definitely hasn't been as many newcomers or younger audiences who want to get into this profession. And I think you mentioned before too, it's a lot of it is because servers are kind of somewhat bad at marketing themselves. So people don't even the kids don't even know that they could even do this and be in this industry. So I think that's definitely some like really important to do. Again, it's just try to find or talk to as many people as you can about, oh, did this work for you? You know, what does this mean? Or once you come across your research and that's I think like after you do all that, then you'll be in a pretty good position to offer up your services or um instead of just kind of going into it blindly, which which wouldn't be a great idea because I mean again you might be just starting out. You can um try your best, but with surveying you're dealing with very important deliverables that you don't want to mess up.
Yeah.
You don't want to just like go out there willy-nilly like, hey, this seems interesting, like let's like advertise this to these companies and see if they're hiring me. You want to make sure you have everything, all your cats in the bag or whatever analogy it is before you go out there.
Got it.
Well said. Can I just start? Is John just touch a very sensitive point? Not for me, for surveyors. And if you go on social media, especially on LinkedIn, you will see a lot of. John can agree. He can, intervene. You see like a just like a war, but it's not. It's like a cold war between land surveyors and drone pilots. It's like, yeah, you don't know. He's right with the land surveyor. He's always been bad at promoting himself. I didn't know about land surveyor if my brother wasn't a student at the university, and it's bad because it's such a nice profession. It's so challenging. Uh, Probably the best thing in my days is actually solving problems, seeing the client like when you see something built and everything is like matching up and like a Lego, you have such a fulfilling feeling. It's so good, and it's bad because it's not promoted. And I think we can promote land surveying through drones, and people will fly and they will survey with drones. But if they want to do that, let's give at least give them the right way how to. This is what I'm trying to do with my YouTube channel. It's education, but also it's it's uh it's not as much marketing because see me promoting my services in there, but it's more like educating clients, educating drone pilots. Look, these are the things you are not aware. Not everything is about the drone. Not everything is about flying the drone. It's about the data. You need to make it useful for your clients. You need to make it accurate. You need to check it. You need to recheck it. Make sure you just tick in the box, and you need to think the process behind the flying the drone, behind the photos and collecting and all the automatic stuff. If something goes wrong, you can see it and you can catch it, and you have a backup method. So this is what actually I'm trying to do in my YouTube channel. But he is right. Unfortunately, this is the I'm actually making a lot of posts on my LinkedIn uh, LinkedIn uh, profile. Sorry, and it's this is why I'm trying to raise awareness that if we surveyors we don't attract young people through technology, and we work like in 25 years ago, we just gonna die as a profession, and it's bad. It's bad. Sorry, I would just got hit up a bit about the subject. Yeah,
No,
John, you can interfere. Be my guest if.
But yeah, I think we'll let Sam because I know he has more questions, so I think we can have him move on to the next one.
Okay.
no. Well, just so you guys know, that's lovely. It's great information. Thank you guys. So how do you figure out what to charge for a project? I'm going to send this out to both of you. Let's start with you, John. Uh, and without telling us any trade secrets, can you give us any information on how someone's just starting out in the business, how they best decide what to charge?
Yeah, so I think the best approach to think about this is think about the how long it would have taken beforehand. So if we have these different new tools that nowadays to not replace every part of surveying because it can't, like say a drone can't do all the same stuff, but several certain things it can replace. Um, take into consideration how much time, say like if we're doing just as an example, throw it out there, we have 100-acre plot of land that's mostly open, like a farm field, and they want to get a topography survey to see if it's going to be good, suitable for like a new development of a housing development or something. Something like that. You know, consider how long this would have taken a crew of, maybe 3 or 4 people out there walking in the field to survey this by foot, and then do the comparison of how long would this take with the drone, as well as some of the field work that's involved with that, and then processing all the data and making those deliverables. Now, again, the processing time will still be a pretty long, I would say, for both of them, but it's the field work that is just has a enormous time saver. So if you calculate, what that in your area, like the average, like say hourly rate of that crew would be to be out there and how long it would take them to do that 100 acres, you can factor that into it as far as like the price reduction there. Because again, the drone again is just a tool that saves everyone money and surveying because there's going to be less man hours out there in the field. So that's a big part of it. And then again, it's just based off the deliverables that you're going to provide. Like, are we just going to only do a topo, or including on that? Are we also going to do, let's say, like planometrics of all the roads nearby to do a feasibility study of, do we need to create more lanes, since we have all these new houses here, things like that, like, building new sidewalks and stuff like that. So there's that, and then again, obviously, just the location of the site relative to you, and then how big of a site it is. Is it just this one-off project of 100 acres, or does this, developer or so have multiple other projects that they want similar services done on? So I would say that's my best advice of like different things that you would want to consider when kind of strategically coming up with pricing.
And John, real quickly, before we go on to Stefan, are you suggesting, for example, the old way cost $10,000 to survey with this particular deliverable? We can make the same deliverable, and we just need to figure out how much cheaper than 10,000, like, shows them a legitimate savings, and that's what we charge?
Yeah, that's a way. Again, when I've worked a lot with a lot of surveyors, like, they're always happy to outsource any kind of drone work that they can instead of having their guys out there, because it saves them 30% or so, whatever it might be, of on average of sending their crew out, and then they could allocate that crew for something else that the drone can't do at the same time. So yeah, I would say, yeah, that's definitely something that I do all the time, and I would recommend.
Great. Stefan, what do you think?
Yeah, I was just thinking what John was saying with that. I saw that also in UK. In the UK, servers, they are afraid to fly a drone. It's funny, but I'm sorry. I'm just gonna come back to your question. Yeah, so I calculate how much do I need per month to keep my lights open, including my salary. And of course, you're gonna have so this is our like fixed cost, let's say £5,000, and then you have the project cost, like don't know, you need to hire equipment, or you need to transport, you need accommodation, you need food, or whatever that for that particular project. And you're gonna need to the complexity, exactly how much value do you bring to your client, because you can't sell it too cheap. If you save him so much money, like John was saying, you do it in half of the time. It's you need to take that in account. So finding a price is pretty complicated, but I think as a base, if you start with your salary, your business expenses plus the project expenses, you're gonna have like a rough day rate, and that should be your minimum. And from that onwards, it's you need to calculate, because you're gonna have slow months, and you need to cover those ones. For example, in the UK now is the high season, for me is up to November, and then it just slows down a wee bit. To be honest, I don't want to go because the winters here in Scotland are really bad. They are very windy and wet, and so you need to take in consideration that, to make sure you're gonna have an income all year. So there are a few things to take in consideration. Yeah.
And with that, Stefan, day rate versus like a flat rate, and in my own ignorance, if I don't understand how these jobs are sort of bid on, but basically, are you saying that when you bill someone, you're billing them a day rate, or do you bid $10,000 to get this job done in however much time I think I can do it in?
So they are standard jobs, like construction setting out, or stakeout, how you call it in the States. You have like topographical surveys on site. You go on site and survey. Those are pretty standard. So you need to charge. This is how everybody is used. So you kind of need to justify through a day rate. And there are jobs that high value, like laser scanning or complicated deliveries, like don't know, like you need to some special sections or some special drawings. Drone surveys, they can be, if they are like big surfaces, or you scan for a very complicated feature. These are like complex jobs, and you need to charge accordingly, because you're gonna bring a lot of value to your client. So, but when I was talking about day rate, yeah, basically I was talking about routine jobs, like typical on-site. When you go on site per visit, you go on a construction site, they call you to do a particular job, and you need to charge. This is what everybody charges per visit, and yeah, this is how I calculate my rate. I know exactly the minimum, and then I can't go lower than that, but I can go higher. Depends of the client, and if it's a loyal client, you can give a returning client. Sorry, you can give a small discount, maybe, if you want to keep it. Or most of my clients, they don't want the discount; they are happy with my rates. Yeah.
Do you have any particular new tools or workflows that have really helped cut your own costs down? Anything new there? Stefan, start with you.
Like survey equipment or general? Because at the moment I'm trying to cut my admin cost, because it's hard to hire people these days. That's probably the most expensive resource. So if I can replace an assistant or somebody with a piece of equipment, I will do it. Probably when I buy equipment, survey equipment, I'm thinking about the ROI. I prefer to hire as much as I can, and probably the best ROI that I had, and now I'm not kidding. It was my Emlid receiver. I think I already got, because it was so cheap. I was hiring. I would say the numbers. I was hiring with around 350 pounds per week, and that's the price. The Emily cost me probably the price for 8-9 weeks, and I have it for a year and a half almost. So I'm using it daily. so you can make the call. So yeah, I when I buy an equipment, I'm thinking about the return of investment, in how much time I'm getting my money back, basically. Is that answering the question, or?
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean,
Okay.
again, I think for anyone watching this who is interested in the business side of survey, I think both of those answers are very valid, right? Yeah, thank you. How about you, John?
Yeah, of course. Again, Emlid, definitely one of the best. Saves a lot. A great product. Saves a lot of time. Really easy to use. I would say more less of the technology that's been saving a lot of time. I think it's more so having a systematic process of how you capture something, how you survey something. Doing the same repeatable thing every single time. I for one, I get to the site, then I set up my Emlid base on the known point. Sometimes if it's an active construction site, I'll try to pick out the known point ahead of time when I get their KML files of the location, to be adjusted sometimes in the field when you get there. It ends up not being a suitable spot, or the stake has been destroyed, or different things. But try to and do like those coordinate conversions back at the office, so by the time I get there, I kind of have all the appropriate information already written down that I'm going to put into my Emlid, and then set up my base again, and then go around the site, and if applicable, put out like my ground control, set that all up, and then shoot that in at the same time. And then once everything looks good, then put the drone up and fly and do the survey. Again, it's just having like a very repeatable, even like really like a checklist or something of, this is the way it's going to be done every time. And at that point, like, you kind of show up somewhere and you can save a lot of time by just already knowing in the back of your mind, like, what to do next. Because if you're very like scatterbrained of like doing it out of like a different order every single time, then that can waste a lot of time in the field, because you don't want to get into those situations where, say, like something, a piece of equipment is malfunctioning. Of course, sometimes you can't avoid this, or you picked up a new tool, but like you're not really so sure yet of how it works fully or something. And so kind of already understanding the whole process before you show up is really key to just get it done as fast as you can.
Yeah, so for you, processes and standardization sounds like a very important way to cut costs.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Having, again, just a straightforward systematic process that you can just do it over and over again. And like Stefan was saying, over time as you grow, you're going to end up hiring jobs out, or bringing on people into your company to do jobs while, at the same time you're doing a different job in a different state or something, or a different region. And already having these procedures, like said, like written down, makes it super easy just to, send these over to this new hire, and give them a little bit of instruction of, this is the way, that we do it. And then that's it, like it's makes it super easy.
Can I add something?
Please.
I think John actually hit the nail in the head, because workflows save money, and he's right. A good, repeatable workflow, proven, it just is probably the best asset you can have. It saves you money on not hiring useless equipment, not buying equipment you don't need, and not buying software that you don't need. Plus, avoiding mistakes, as you said, repeating the same process on the same type of jobs. Yeah. So John just hit it. Yeah.
And Stefan, coming back to your for just 1 second, thank you both. It seemed like your philosophy, if I understood correctly, was hire until it's cheaper to buy.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I just want to know a little bit more about what kind of work fills. Let's go to John. What kind of work fills your calendar these days? Particular industries, type of project.
Yeah, definitely. So, these days, I do a lot of like new constructions. It could be new housing developments or a lot, specifically in New Jersey. They're building lots of like industrial like warehouses. So doing a lot of say like as built surveys of those areas like after the construction is fully complete. They want to make sure that everything lines up exactly or as close as possible to the original design. So that's definitely a big one. And then again, if it's like a piece of land that's gonna be possibly redeveloped or they're trying to do a feasibility study if it's suitable for redevelopment, then that's a great one too. To do like a topography survey of that piece of land. Again, like you could have them like say like doing like planimetric data too later in CAD processing, pointing out all the different roads or features that are existing in that area and how that would all kind of play together. So I would say that's a big one. And I'll give you one example of something that I did recently that was a little bit out of the box that you wouldn't even really, again, there's so many applications for surveying. One of them was a a farm that was going to be redeveloped into like a new like cannabis growing facility. And they kind of had to have this whole survey done of this plot of land to figure out exactly, how the rows of the crop was going to be situated, like exactly where the greenhouses were going to go, like the access roads of the equipment, like how big of a road that needs to be, like how far or the fences or the locations of the fences, like where those are going to be. So and again, like they all can get this information from doing like a great, either hand, I mean, or on foot or like a drone survey of that land. And it's again, there's just so many different things you can do. But I would say for sure, like a lot of the topography and the as built surveys is has been pretty big for me personally.
Stefan.
Yeah. So yeah, my workflow is a bit diverse because yeah, I'm a land surveyor, so I do fly drones, but I also do other stuff. So, but mostly I help construction companies just work more efficient in the way of like I I help my clients to find like design errors through my expertise, So I collect data, I check all the drawings, see if they match each other, because it's a pretty common thing here to that the drawings are made by different companies and they are not synchronized, and then you have you have glitches. So if when they go to that stage and the drawings are not misaligned, they need to stop the work, and then a day or two, and they just need to stop for a solution and wait for stop and wait for a solution, and that costs a lot of money. So I help my clients to foreseen this through different methods. Yeah, one is through drones, is the most visual and is the simplest way to collect data. Um, I do like stockpiles, cut and fill analyzing, trying to see exactly how much material they will move, how much they need to dig, and how much they need to uh, fill. And yeah, I do topographical surveys, 3D scanning, um, survey networks for like refineries or like special places, like a bit more complex stuff. Um, yeah, as I said, laser scanning, not like terrestrial, I basically, I don't know, my expertise is a bit more vast. But at the moment, I help mostly construction companies to save money, basically, through technical expertise. It's more than surveying, basically. It's a bit more engineering. Yeah.
Thank you. So this one is it's a question more about like when you're at work in the field, what is it like? Can you remember a time where you kind of like you just thought to yourself like, yes, this is why I love what I do? Is there a moment in your day where you're like, yeah, I love surveying?
Yeah, I think almost every day I have that kind of realization. What I love about it is just how much of like an adventure it can be, and just seeing all these new interesting places. You get access to, sometimes it might be interesting, like if you might be in the middle of a cornfield, like with no one around, or like, the next day you might be, in a busy parking lot with all these trucks or going around or cars or whatever it might be. And you just like always come across things all the time that are just like, oh, that's cool. Like that's interesting. Like, we never could be, it could be something just so random, like, oh, like that tree is really big and like look at the way it grew. Because you just, you're doing a survey like nearby the woods or something. Or it just brings you to so many different interesting places. And again, like if you like being outdoors, then this is a super great industry for that, because you're just for the most part, when you're out there in the field, you're outside, you're walking around, hopefully the weather is nice. If it because if it is, then the vibes would be great.
Yeah.
Not as much when it's freezing cold or something, but or like raining. But there's for any kind of for any kind of job or industry, there's good and bad days. But I think for the most part, yeah, surveying, like, it just gets you in a good mood, and you kind of get into your rhythm of things, and it's just overall just a pretty fun time.
Thanks, Sean. Stefan,
That
any
was nice.
thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, he's perfectly right. So I'm so thankful for my profession, because I managed to, I don't know, I saw the world, through my profession. I literally I've been like through in some countries, but not sitting in one house, one place, one city. I actually travel. And also in UK, I think I saw all UK plus Ireland plus other countries around in Europe. And yeah, he's right. Yeah, probably that's the biggest. It's not monotonous. It's there is no. It can be repeatable if you want. You just go on the same construction site, but if you don't want to, it just changes. It's yeah, the landscape. Something changes. It's never the same day. He's right. It's always something changes. Even the same place in a different day is different. Because there is something built in the middle of the site, or something happened. It's the adventure, it's the adrenaline. You get adrenaline, and you get that feeling that you participate to something meaningful. You know what I mean? You actually participate after things are built. For example, I when I came to Scotland 10 years ago, my first project was a big bridge, which is like 2.7 kilometers. It's the biggest in Scotland. And I worked there, and every time I just walk, I remember, like, I actually worked for a couple of years here, and I
Yeah.
say this place was not like this, was not looking like this. And it's so I still get that even after over 20 years of being on site in different places. Yeah, you don't become numb of that. Yeah. So yeah, John said it right. It's the adventure. So if you like adventure, if you like challenges, if you like technical challenges, yeah, this is the job for you. Definitely.
Yeah, as you guys both were speaking about it, I was thinking about how, even the house I'm sitting in right now, there was a survey done to build this house, the road that's out front of my house, all the way to the bridge, right? And you just think of the entire built infrastructure requires people measuring things, right? So it's a pretty cool profession you guys have there. I have one more question. And I think we'll start with you, Stefan. So if someone told you they were about to start their own surveying business, what advice would you give to them?
As I did, you need to have some money saved on the side because things will be hard before they get better. Just be confident on your skills. Just make sure you have enough skills and you can cover a lot of projects. Try to make systems, like John said. Put them on paper while you have time, and network. Use social media. Show people what you know. Try to, I don't know. It's so easy these days. Before was just you just stay in your area. You are stuck in a bubble. Now everything is worldwide. I mean, look at me. I'm from a country, and until now I lived in, I don't know, 5 countries, and it's just take advantage of that. Take advantage of of social media, I think, and yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah, so I really think that it's really important when you're first getting started to have create a very good website. You can make it yourself to start, or you could have someone you could pay someone to do it for you. That's a super really important starting point. Don't even get started advertising your services before you make a website. Um, so that's definitely one thing. The next one is, again, there's so many different ways you can go about surveying, and there's just so many applications that you can do with it. Now, what I found success in over time was to kind of find a good niche and just kind of stay in that area. Find a good, like a certain part of surveying that you really like doing. I know a lot of surveyors, like, say, like a construction stakeout where you're, hammering in stakes all day, tying ribbon. A lot of them don't like doing that, but other ones might really like doing that. Um, and that's just like one avenue of surveying. That's like one kind of service. So, I mean, again, it's in the beginning. You can definitely still experiment and try all the different things. But as time goes on, you might find being more of a specialized in a certain area instead of being less of a generalist. You have a lot more expertise in one area, which people will find very, very valuable. And then again, when you sit and even like the industry that you service too, like, say you want to only do surveys of like a residential construction or something, or property surveys like boundary lines or something, then you can kind of target most of your marketing and your time towards that specific individual, which will be different from a different type of client and from a different industry. So I think that's a really good thing to keep in the back of your mind, is as you learn and experiment, pick out the things that you enjoy doing the most, and hopefully would also be the more the more profitable ones too. And then just try to stay in that area. And I mean, for me, I've done that a couple years ago, and it worked really great for me to niche down into a certain industry there. So that's some of the advice that I would give.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Can I add
both.
something? Sorry. Can I
Sorry,
add
go ahead,
something?
Stefan.
I totally agree with John. Yeah, the riches are in the niches, how we say in the UK. But before you get specialized in something, be a bit more general, and then just try to just get more specialized but at the beginning, it's better to be a bit more general to realize where is your way. Yeah. Sorry about that.
And also surveying, when you're getting started, especially if you're out there on your own and not working for a firm, it'll like the starting costs can be really expensive. Getting all that equipment, it's definitely not cheap. So, and I've come across a lot of people who ask me in the same position for advice, and I see a lot of people who unfortunately are kind of going out there and advertising services, just trying to test the waters,
Mm.
but they want to test. They're putting like the cart before the horse, and they're testing the waters, to see if there's interest before getting the equipment or before fully learning everything of how of what to do. Which I mean, that could make sense, if you think that way, but again, you want to really have all your eggs in the basket from the get-go. You need to get the equipment first. It can be a pretty high upfront investment. Learn everything about it and how to use it. Um, and then you have to go out there and again try to reach those clients and everything. It's the right way to do it. You don't want to go doing it backwards because might not be in your favor.
Yeah, it's pretty hard when you don't have credibility. So maybe it's a good thing to do some pilot projects at the beginning. Like just cover your costs as minimum or whatever, but at least you will get experience and you will have a portfolio to show I help this client with this problem. And but yeah, as I said, I don't know exactly. I think the skills are more important than the equipment. You can do more stuff with the basic equipment, but if you have the skills, then people with lower skills and with a higher equipment, everybody these days, they just put the equipment. They think they buy a LiDAR. I get it every day because I have also a consultancy company, and they just want me to confirm their thoughts. It says, I bought this equipment, I pay $30,000. It must be good on automatic. It must be because I pay a lot of money. It says, no, you still need to know some surveying principles because things are not perfect in this world. So my opinion is, yeah, you need to be sure that you can provide good services and then think about anything else. Yeah, this is my opinion.
Well, thank you guys so much, John, Stefan. Really appreciate all your time. Thank you very much.